We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm gonna be leaving Costa Rica soon. I booked a ticket to fly to Bali. Yeah, that's right. I haven't left my little humble abode here in a year and 2 months. This is actually the longest I've stayed in one place for since I was about 18 years old. So I'm feeling a little crazy, but it felt like it was time. And because of that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take you on a little ride. So I'm gonna jump on the bike, and we're gonna ride into the mountains, and I'm gonna share a little bit more of my story with you about how I got here before I leave. Okay, so I figured what we do is take the bike out today and chat with you guys. Now, this is kind of like part 3, so I'm gonna go over a few different things. Primarily, I'm leaving Costa Rica for a little bit. I'm gonna fly to Bali, but because I'm here and I'm on the bike, it actually brings us to part 3 of how I got here. So last time we left off, I was telling you about my partner and how I was witnessing this creation of wealth that wasn't just around money, that the interest in working, providing services for other people was a much deeper interest. Almost like, hey, look, you get to be here on this beautiful planet. So your work, or your products, your services, that's how you repay the debt for being here. A bit more of like a spiritual take on capitalism, and if you provide a good product or a good service, then you get rewarded for it. So my partner and I we're taking like a 6-month motorcycle trip through Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, all back roads like this, nothing but GPS to lead the way. A lot of times there are no hotels. Like some of the towns you saw we drove by, we just knock on people's house, like, does anyone have an extra room they want to rent for a night? And people would let us into their homes, and we'd pay for breakfast and places to stay. And you know, this is quite a miraculous moment to be able to be out basically in the middle of nowhere tripping around in Central America. But we ended up living in Ecuador for a little bit, and she had to fly back to do some work, and I was staying at the house, and I got a dog, and I was really excited to kind of settle in. I thought we were going to live in Ecuador, and it was like a rescue dog, and the dog died. And it was the first moment where I've been like upset in a long time. You know, we had been studying ayahuasca. We had the privilege of sitting with all these ayahuasca and Shipibo shamans while we were in Iquitos, in the kind of basin of the Amazon River in Peru. And I think this idea of mortality hit me, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to live out here by myself right now. If you're in the States, I'm going to fly back to Canada. And this was kind of the start of us breaking up, I guess, to some degree or another, or separating. You know, she's married, she's got kids now. We're still great friends. I message her all the time. But the point of this is it was the first time I was back on my own, and I had to look I was like, well, what am I going to do for work? Now, I kept seeing all these people in Canada. Now, I don't know how well you guys know Canada, but a lot of people make around a minimum $100,000 a year basically drilling for oil. And I was like, well, damn, I need to make at least $100,000 a year if I'm gonna be happy. So what am I gonna do? And I went from living in $10 million homes to right back to being a street kid, basically. But this is where the story kind of got fun. So I was around 25, 26 when this happened. So we'd spent about 5 years together, traveling the world, playing music and dancing together under the stars. And I knew that wealth was this internal idea, so I started to be like, okay, well, you know, if they can make $100,000 drilling for oil, what am I gonna do? I'm like, I'll just keep my eyes open for any opportunity that arises. And I sat down at the coffee shop one day, and a friend of mine was like, here, you know, we're doing this kind of online sales stuff. Like, we take a product, we sell it on Facebook. I'm like, okay, cool, let's try that out. You know, they were making around $100,000 a day when I first joined them, so it's no big deal. All of a sudden, I went from street kid to having my own office. They bought me a brand new computer. They paid me $5,000 a month to start. So again, I went from kind of being broke to having this new job opportunity, and I learned really quickly. I fixed a lot of problems that other people in the company weren't able to fix after years of them being there. So I worked my way up, And then I realized, well, wait, why am I working for you guys when I could do this all by myself? So I started my own company. We started doing what's known as search engine optimization. So for those of you that don't know, that's basically like we build a website, we produce content, and then that content gets ranked by Google, and people will go and like read the reviews of, say, a yoga ball chair. And then if they like your reviews about the yoga ball chair, they click on your affiliate link, they buy the yoga ball chair, you get paid like the $50 from the $180 yoga ball chair. So it worked out great. And because I had been living offshore, all my bank accounts were set up offshore, there was minimal to no taxes on all the money we were making. So that's how I ended up in Costa Rica. I started making 5 figures a month, and that's when I bought property. I started building my house here, and I got kind of bored with the work I was doing. As much as I liked selling yoga ball chairs to make 5 figures a month, it just didn't interest me. And this is where the turn for me got really fun. And now it took a little bit of time for it to really settle in, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was living out here in Costa Rica in the beautiful house in the bear cave that you guys had seen. I had saved up a fair amount of money from working the year before, so I was doing okay. And I was like, okay, well, let's find something new. I sat down one night in 2016 and I was like, I need to make 10 to $100 million. That's kind of the goal. How do I get there? I sat down and I took a bunch of medicine plant called iboga. Now, I don't suggest anyone ever take it. This is not medical or financial advice. But iboga is this really unique plant medicine where when you take it, you can ask it questions and it will give you like specific answers. So I said, hey, iboga, I want to make a lot of money. What can I do? What can I do to make like a lot of money? What business model will fit in that world? And I got this blazing answer: Arcane Bear and Green Folk. And at that moment I had like baby business twins. So for those of you that don't know, when I first moved here, I started a beverage company, all natural ginger ale. It's like fresh ginger, water, lemon, sugar. It's delicious. It's really good for your stomach. It's really healthy. It's a probiotic. And it's all natural. And I was like, well, this is great. And very shortly after, I met my mentor, who started a company called Silk Almond Milk, and he started to tell me these ideas about sacred capitalism, or how we produce capital companies driving by this force of my product and service being good for the community. All it needed was a moral driver, and that's what a lot had gone wrong with capitalism. Nothing was wrong with capitalism, it's just things are wrong with people. And because of that, often morality was not the driver of businesses. So I started to build that company, and I started to build the Arcane Bear. So in 2017, I turned on the Arcane Bear for the first time. I made my very first YouTube videos talking about freedom media, and that the goal of the Arcane Bear was to provide value through everyone, where there was basically no exterior incentive aside from what we were producing as a community. And I never would have imagined, especially because I thought Arcane Bear was just going to be the pet project, and that the driver would be, the beverage company. But I was wrong, apparently. Arcane Bear quickly became one of my favorite things to do, producing videos like this, communicating value, sharing my interests, my story along the way. And more importantly, this kind of joking idea about, hey, like I do a venture capital. Like I had no idea what venture capital was when I first wrote that. It became this really beautiful journey into discovering how do we communicate value, share the research and the work that we've done, and constantly move forward to better the products and services that we provide. And I think one of the most unique things about this is it's been like 8 years, right? Not since the beginning of Arcane Bear, but since I moved to Costa Rica. And this moment when the pandemic hit, I got really comfortable. I got a beautiful property here. I've got access to everything I need. But for the first time since I started hitchhiking when I was 18 years old, I felt like I was getting complacent or like too comfortable. I'm like, oh no, I've been in one place for too long this year. Like I have to go somewhere else. I need to do something else. So we're going to Bali. We're gonna go to Indonesia and we're gonna see what that adventure takes us next time. So today's video, I just wanted to kind of take you out on the road, like share this beautiful scenery with you, these gorgeous empty, like look at that, there's nothing out there. It's just beautiful raw nature. And Bali is going to be a little bit of the opposite of this, and I'm really looking forward to a change like that, just general pace of scenery. Before the pandemic, basically every 3 months I was traveling. This is the longest I've sat in one place not traveling since I was like 18 years old. That's a long time of not moving. Almost like I just hit a brick wall and stopped. And I started to get comfortable. And I was okay with it for a little bit, but I gotta keep moving. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump on the road in about 2 weeks, and we're gonna fly to Bali, and we're gonna try something new out for a little bit. I'm really looking forward to it, and this is just another episode to share how we got to today. There's probably a bit more I could have included, but you know me, I like to freestyle, riff, and rant. I just press record on the camera and hope for the best. and it seems to work out. So thank you guys all for joining us, for supporting and liking this content, because I don't really know where we're going. Part of the fun of the journey, like when we were traveling through Colombia and Peru on the motorcycles, following nothing but GPS, was that we didn't know where we were going to end up at the end of the day. We didn't know what little town or whose house we were going to have to knock on the door and see who had rooms where we could sleep in. Because I don't know if you could tell, but when you're traveling on motorcycles in the middle of nowhere like this, there's no hotels. You pretty much like get to wherever you can get to for the day and go, hey, does anyone know where we can find a place to sleep for the night? Anyways, this is Teal with the Arcane Bear. Thank you all for joining us on this journey. I wanted to make more of these kind of like life vlog moments where I share just kind of the day-to-day basis. And as we go to Bali, one of the things I'm really looking forward to is doing more charitable work. There's a woman who's going to be picking me up from the airport who does a lot of community work as well, so I'm excited to start doing stuff with her when we land, because obviously my Indonesian bahasa is no bueno. Even my Espanol is just like borderline good. I sound like a 6-year-old kid when I speak in Spanish. But anyways, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for this wonderful journey with the Arcane Bear. Again, I never would have imagined that this would become the kind of full-time endeavor, is to share stories and share my insight like this. So yeah, thank you guys. And hey, I'll just leave you out with the view here.